The camera lens reflected a single wide eye, bloodshot and terrified. In that moment, the boundary between observer and observed seemed to blur, as if the forest itself was peering back through the glass. The lens, usually a tool for capturing reality, now felt like a portal to something unknown, something watching from the other side. A fleeting reflection of something tall and thin swayed in the pupil, a trick of the morning light, or so Elias desperately hoped. The shape was almost human, but impossibly elongated, its outline wavering in the mist. For a split second, it seemed to move with purpose, as if aware of being seen. A low, off-key whistle slithered through the air, a sound that did not belong. It was neither bird nor wind, but something in between, a note that seemed to vibrate with unease. The whistle wound its way through the trees, echoing off trunks and vanishing into the fog, leaving a chill in its wake. Elias Thorne lowered the camera, breath catching in his throat, his heart hammered in his chest, each beat loud in the unnatural silence. He tried to steady his hands, but the tremor in his fingers betrayed his fear. The forest, once a place of curiosity and adventure, now pressed in on him, thick with secrets. The whistle faded, leaving the oppressive quiet of the woods. Every sound seemed amplified. The crunch of leaves underfoot, the distant caw of a crow, the faint rustle of branches overhead. Yet beneath it all was a silence that felt alive, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath. He told himself it was just the wind, or a strange bird, clinging to logic as a shield against the unknown. But the image burned into his memory, a stark black shape against the cold gray sky, its edges too sharp, its presence too deliberate to be dismissed as a trick of the light. The silhouette lingered in his mind, a shadow that refused to fade. It seemed to pulse with a silent energy, drawing his gaze back again and again. Elias felt a prickle at the back of his neck, the unmistakable sensation of being watched. He raised the camera again, hands trembling, scanning the clearing. Each movement felt deliberate, as if he was being guided by an unseen force. The lens swept across the trees, searching for any sign of movement, any hint of the figure that haunted his vision. The forest remained still, watching. The trees stood like silent sentinels, their branches interlaced overhead, casting shifting patterns of shadow on the ground. Every patch of darkness seemed to conceal a secret, every shaft of light a possible revelation. Elias, a man of logic, felt the weight of being observed. He had always trusted his senses, relied on reason to explain the world. But now, reason faltered, and instinct took over. The feeling was unmistakable. Something, somewhere, was watching him with intent. The whistle seemed to reverberate in the trees, defying rational explanation. It was as if the sound had left an imprint on the air, a residue of unease that clung to every branch and leaf. Elias tried to shake it off, but the sensation lingered, heavy and persistent. He checked the footage, zooming in on the reflection. His thumb hovered over the playback button, reluctant to confront what the camera might have captured. The screen flickered, revealing a blur of shapes and colors, the forest rendered in digital static. The image was pixelated, indistinct, but he knew what he had seen. No amount of distortion could erase the memory of that silhouette, the way it seemed to exist both within and beyond the frame. Elias felt a surge of frustration. Technology, his usual ally, offered no comfort here. It was a silhouette that defied the natural geometry of the forest. Its angles were wrong, its proportions unsettling. It seemed to hover just at the edge of perception, always slipping away when he tried to focus. The more he stared, the less certain he became of what was real. He deleted the clip, a futile attempt to erase the unease. The act felt hollow, as if the memory had already rooted itself too deeply to be removed. The sense of dread remained, growing stronger with each passing moment. The forest held its secrets in the cold, damp air and deep shadows. Elias stood alone, surrounded by ancient trees and the weight of unseen eyes. The camera hung heavy around his neck, a reminder that some things, once glimpsed, can never be forgotten. The woods, silent and watchful, waited for his next move. Elias chose Aokigahara for its profound silence. The forest was a natural anechoic chamber, perfect for capturing the elusive Japanese nightjar's call. Armed with high-tech equipment, He was a digital ghost hunter, seeking a feathered quarry. The forest was a variable to be controlled, its reputation a mere footnote. He set up camp, creating a web of technology to capture the faintest whisper. The first day passed in uneventful silence, the forest withholding itself. As night fell, the gray world dissolved into black, and the silence deepened. On the second morning, as the first pale light filtered through the misty trees, Elias began his ritual with a wooden bird call, the smooth grain of the instrument cool in his hand. The forest was silent, save for the distant rustle of leaves and the soft crunch of moss beneath his boots. He felt the weight of anticipation, the sense that something unseen was listening, waiting. He raised the call to his lips and whistled the nightjar's haunting melody, a sound that seemed to linger in the damp air. He waited, breath held, for a reply from the hidden world around him. Then from somewhere deep within the trees, an echo returned, faint but unmistakable. It was as if the forest itself had learned his song, and was now singing it back to him. Excitement surged through Elias as he quickly adjusted his recording equipment, eager to capture every nuance of this mysterious response. He checked the levels, his hands trembling slightly, heart pounding in his chest. But as he listened, a chill crept up his spine. The echo was too perfect, too clean, lacking the subtle imperfections of a living creature. It was as if the sound had been copied and played back, a digital replication in the heart of the wild. Determined to test the phenomenon, Elias tried a more complex pattern, weaving together notes only a true nightjar could master. To his astonishment, the forest whistled it back flawlessly, each note mirrored with uncanny precision. What began as a simple experiment now felt like a conversation with something unknown. A cold dread seeped into his excitement, the hairs on his arms standing on end. No bird, he realized, could replicate a call so perfectly, so mechanically. The sound seemed to come from everywhere at once, surrounding him, as if the very woods had become a living speaker. Elias turned slowly, scanning the dense undergrowth, searching for any sign of movement, but the source remained hidden. The forest felt alive, aware, and he was suddenly very small within it. His technology, meant to reveal the secrets of the wild, only amplified the mystery. The audio waveforms danced across his screen but offered no clues, only more questions, echoing in the static of the morning air. Elias was certain now, someone or something was interfering with his work. Determined to get answers, he launched his drone, its rotors slicing through the early morning mist as it climbed above the treetops. From this height, he hoped to spot any sign of movement, any clue that would explain the strange disruptions plaguing his equipment. The live feed streamed back to his monitor, revealing a vast unbroken expanse of green. The forest seemed endless, stretching in every direction, the dense canopy hiding whatever secrets lay beneath. There were no trails, no animals, not even a hint of wind to disturb the leaves. It was as if the entire wilderness was holding its breath, waiting. Then, just as Elias was about to turn the drone back, a flicker of movement caught his eye. At the very edge of the screen, a tall black shape appeared for a split second, so brief he almost missed it. He leaned closer, heart pounding, replaying the footage in his mind. Was it a trick of the light, or something more? Driven by a mix of curiosity and dread, Elias guided the drone lower, its camera weaving between the trunks. The signal began to falter, the image stuttering and breaking into digital fragments. Each second, the feed grew more unstable, as if the forest itself was resisting his intrusion. Suddenly, the screen froze. The last image burned into the display was unmistakable, a figure impossibly tall and thin, standing motionless among the trees. Its face was obscured, but Elias felt an overwhelming sense that it was staring straight at him, through the lens, through the screen. Without warning, the feed dissolved into a blizzard of static. A piercing, high-pitched screech filled the speakers, making Elias flinch. He scrambled to regain control, but the drone was lost, swallowed by the interference. The forest had gone silent again, but the sense of being watched lingered. Elias knew now that this was no ordinary prank, no simple technical glitch. There was something out there, something that didn't want to be seen. The air in his small control room felt heavier, as if the forest's secrets were pressing in on him. The image of that figure haunted him, burned into his memory. He couldn't shake the feeling that whatever it was, it had become aware of him, and that this was only the beginning. Panic broke through Elias's armor as he packed his equipment. The forest felt watchful, holding its breath. His satellite phone displayed no signal, an impossibility. His laptop's connection spun endlessly, mocking him. A camera feed activated on its own, showing a limb sliding into view. Elias slammed the laptop shut, his technology breached. The devices turned against him, showing glimpses of the thing hunting him. The whistle started again, closer, from all directions. He was stripped of his digital senses, left with failing human perception. Night fell, and Elias abandoned his camp with a flashlight and GPS. The forest conspired against him, paths swallowed by fog. The whistle was a constant companion, a phantom orchestra. It lured him deeper, mocking his efforts. The psychological toll was immense, his senses betraying him. The forest was a living entity, its breath a cold, unending whistle. Exhaustion weighed on Elias as he collapsed at a tree's base. The whistling stopped, replaced by a heavy, expectant silence. He turned on his camera, its battery nearly dead. On the screen, a shape defined by negative space appeared. It was a void in the shape of a man, a tear in reality. The sight broke something inside him, his rational mind shattered. The shape flowed closer, a perfect cutout in the pixelated world. As the figure approached, a low hum began, vibrating in Elias's chest. The whistle returned, but it came from Elias, his body moving against his will. The figure responded with a harmony, creating a duet. Elias was a puppet, his body an instrument of horror. The melody grew complex, a song of loneliness and despair. He was absorbed into the phenomenon, his individuality erased. The camera died, leaving Elias in darkness with the entity. The duet continued, his body a marionette. The figure touched his consciousness, revealing its loneliness. It wanted a partner for its eternal duet. Elias's will broke, his whistling becoming fluid and strong. He was unwritten, a vessel for the sound. The forest echoed with the two-part whistle, a haunting song. Elias was no longer a man but the whistler's echo, forever part of the wood's tale.